It was fun, it was rebellious, it was young and wild and free and exciting and exactly what I needed. Y'all, installment one of Sex and the City, my dating stories in New York. I have been living in New York now for 12 years. Part of why I moved here is I had gone through a really bad breakup and I needed to start over. The kind of dating experience I had in New York, I had actually met this guy in Arkansas. He was a musician in a band that at the time when I met him in Arkansas, they had a Tiny Desk concert. And so they were on their rise, but they hadn't released their first album. They had just released their EP. And we met after his show in Arkansas, and I mentioned that I was moving to Brooklyn, and so he was like, oh, you should come to the show there in a couple of weeks at, I want to say, the Knitting Factory. And yeah, so when I moved here, I ended up going to that show. I ran into him afterwards at the Commodore. We start hooking up, and it was interesting to watch because I basically watched him and his band become famous. When I first saw them, that show in Arkansas, part of why we interacted is because no one was there. It was literally me and my sister and my brother-in-law. There were 3 people in the audience. Maybe there were like a couple of other people, but it was dead. And, you know, I went from seeing him in that situation to, I mean, the Knitting Factory, they had played Tiny Desk, so New Yorkers knew who they were. They were getting bigger. And I dated him through that process of like him working on the album they ended up releasing that was fantastic. They were one of my favorite bands, and it was also my situationship. And so yeah, interesting dynamic, very very me, very intro to New York City to be hooking up with a guy whose band you're like loving and obsessed with, especially once they dropped the album. It was so good, and anybody who knew me at the time would tell you I was singing that music all the time. But my situation with him wasn't always great. It was, you know, he non-committal because obviously he was on the road, which like part of me was excited by, part of me enjoyed because I was new to New York City and I didn't really want to settle down. I mean, in hindsight, was I hooking up with other people? Yeah, I think I was. So it was like kind of fun when he was there and then when he wasn't. But like he was like the main guy that was on my mind, you know? And okay, and he was really open with me about the fact that he was also seeing this other girl who like was on tour with him that was in another band. So like I don't know if he was open with her about me, but whatever. It was whatever, because at the end of the day, I later was dating someone and like we just weren't committal. We weren't committal. It's fine. That's exactly like, honestly, when you first move to New York, ladies, it's okay to have something like this, because do you really want to settle down right away? I don't think so. I think you should have fun. You know, you're young, you're wild, you're free. Do it. Live your life. Carpe diem, bitches. Carpe diem. Like once he was on tour and once they like really blew up, like we're talking playing Governor's Ball, Coachella, like I'm not going to name drop them out of respect, but like they were a big band. They were a big band. And our situationship continued for probably, I don't know, off and on for like 2 years, I think. Maybe less than that. I'm not sure. But I'll never forget, this is how I know I'm a little bit psychic, because I'll never forget, he was like, he didn't have an apartment in Brooklyn once they were like touring all the time. And I had been out at this like New Orleans bar in Williamsburg having gumbo with my friend. And I was like, I just have this weird feeling I'm going to see. Anyways, I'm like walking out. We turn left on Barry, and he's on the stoop. He's on the stoop of his friend's apartment. But like, there's no way that I would have known that he was even in town. And like, my friend saw it in real time where she was like, holy shit, like, you are so psychic. So I don't know. I think when you like hook up with people, there's like this weird energy connection where you can like sense when they're near you. And yeah, but it definitely fucked with my head a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I wrote that song Mr. Grimy about him. Because after a while it just felt like so sexual and not really like intimate at all, in the sense of like not trying to get to know me, just like wanting to like hit me up really late at night and then crash in my bed because he doesn't have anywhere else to go. But then like not inviting me out to party with him before. Like, I sometimes we would, but after a while it wasn't. And so, you know, you feel used. And if you listen to that song Mr. Grimy, it's all about feeling like overly sexualized and not like respected, and not feeling like someone wants to get to know you. And so yeah, that's how it ended up feeling after a while. And but yeah, I watched him become famous. Really, more the girls in his band became famous. Like, I don't think anybody really knows who he is, but yeah, just obnoxious that like always would hit me up at 2 a.m. Always would. And from a Sex and the City perspective, he was a short little Italian king, and it was exciting. I mean, we're talking Aries energy all over this city like little rabbits. So it was fun, it was rebellious, it was young and wild and free and exciting, and exactly what I needed, you know, and especially to get over that, you know, boring guy back in Arkansas. Like, yeah, to be hooking up with a rock star all over New York City, in my mind, a rock star. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was. It was fun. It was wild and free. And I was so